The Justice Department has launched a hate crime investigation into the brutal killing of a 6-year-old Palestinian American boy that happened over the weekend. Chicago police arrested Joseph Zuba, pictured there, on murder and hate crime charges related to the stabbing of Wadia Al Fayoum and his 32-year-old mother, Hanan Shaheen, in their home in the Chicago suburb of Plainfield on Saturday. The 71-year-old white landlord is accused of stabbing Wadia 26 times. Now, this is a child that he murdered, and that is, again, a despicable and incredible act of evil based on, well, hatred of Muslims. Zuba also allegedly stabbed Shaheen over a dozen times, and officials said she is in serious condition but is expected to survive as of this report. So, hate crime, clear hate crime, and we know that because text messages sent from Shaheen to the son's father described Zuba as having shouted during the attack, quote, "You Muslims must die." So, again, clear targeting. Plainfield police also said the mother and son were targeted by the suspect due to them being Muslim and the ongoing Middle Eastern conflict involving Hamas and the Israelis. Now, this boy, not a member of Hamas. It's a 6-year-old. Why would that have anything to do with anything? Why? How is that justification? It's not. It's not justification. That's why it's just a horrifying, senseless hate crime. Now, on Monday, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland also said that he was heartbroken by the abhorrent killing of Wadia and vowed that the Justice Department would investigate the events leading to the attack on the family. You also had Joe Biden that mentioned that it was a horrible attack. And then on Sunday, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker called the attack on Wadia and his mother a hate crime, adding that the murder of a child in the name of bigotry is nothing short of evil. I can't disagree. So here we are again. It's 2023, and it feels like 2003. So here you have innocent people who are Muslim being targeted over an act of terrorism that they didn't do. Again, not Hamas. The kid was not Hamas. He was 6. He was probably more worried about what toys he was going to play with. Okay? He wasn't thinking about global jihad. All right? But this guy apparently couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure it out that a child, what about protect the children? What about protect the children? This guy doesn't want to protect the children. He wants to murder the children if they're Palestinian, if they're Arab, if they're Muslim. And look, these are the same kind of people that targeted Sikhs. Sikhs wear the turban. They're not Muslim. They were targeted too. So again, going all the way back to how, the aftermath and how Muslims and people from that part of the world were treated by Americans in the aftermath of the September 11th, 2001 attacks. You just had all of this hatred, racism, bigotry against people who are Muslim. And now it's happening again because of what's going on in Gaza. Incredible evil. Incredible. And this is unfortunately the beginning. I mean, we've seen this already. There's been an increase in hate speech, dehumanizing language. And it's coming from officials. It's coming from right-wing Israeli officials and some of our politicians towards Palestinians and Muslims. Let me give you an example, right? You had over the weekend Ron DeSantis, Florida governor and presidential candidate, claiming that all Palestinians are anti-Semitic and would promote anti-Americanism if the U.S. took in fleeing Gazans as refugees. So now think about this, right? The United States has an anti-Semitism problem. We do. It just happens to be mainly located on the far right. Yeah. And I don't know if you don't know this, right? You probably do know this, that, people on the far right generally are not Palestinians. generally not Muslims, okay, in America. Just putting that out there, okay? No, it's coming from the American right. It's coming from literal neo-Nazi groups. It's coming from people like Nick Fuentes, okay? That's where the anti-Semitism is coming from. And Ron DeSantis is like, no, it's the Palestinians. What? What? Again, the little boy that was murdered, he's from the West Bank. And he came to America with the promise of living in someplace better because right now, West Bank, Gaza, it's an open-air prison. So of course America is going to be so much better. But unfortunately, this child comes here just to get murdered by this sack of crap. It's just, you know, a horrifying story. Absolutely horrible. There's more, by the way. Israeli President Isaac Herzog justified bombing Palestinian civilians, yes, civilians, innocent people, by claiming that all residents of Gaza are responsible for the violence of the region. Are they really? This mass condemnation of people who are not members of Hamas, who are innocent civilians? No, this is war crimes. This is genocide. That's what this is. Israel's defense minister said Israel was fighting human animals. More dehumanization. And Senator Tom Cotton said Israel should, quote unquote, bounce the rubble in Gaza. Wow. Abhorrent. Abhorrent. This dehumanization leads to more types of violence. This type of violence, especially. Look, I have a real simple suggestion, okay? How about we don't blame all Palestinians for the actions of Hamas? How about instead we blame Hamas for the actions of Hamas? Yes, because Hamas is literally the ones that are doing it. And by the way, in that same vein, why don't we not blame all Jewish people for the right-wing government of Israel and their brutal occupation of Gaza? How about we do that? Okay? Look, on Monday, there were Jewish people out there that were opposed to what Netanyahu was doing. They held a giant rally in Washington, D.C. They said, please stop the killings. No genocide in our names. That's what they're out there saying. No genocide in our names. Look, stuff like this needs more attention. And you know, politicians need to pay attention to this. I'm tired of seeing groups of people that are being collectively punished for the actions of a few. And that's, again, what's going on here in Palestine. You have Hamas, which carries out brutal terrorist attacks, and nobody's defending them. Okay, I'm not going to defend them doing that because what they're doing is wrong. But, like, you're going to then lump in innocent people who haven't done anything wrong that are suffering under this, again, occupation. You're going to basically equate them with this group that has killed innocent people. No. In order to justify, in this case, the right-wing government of Israel killing innocent people. You see how this is a cycle that never ends? And that's what happens. Look, we have, you know, more and more bloodshed. And it just, it won't stop. It won't stop. And it's absolutely just incredibly heartbreaking to see not only that over there, but it's filling up over here. And I know there were so many people on the right that were so worried about, oh, Muslim day of rage. Oh, they're going to come. They're going to attack us. No, didn't happen. But guess what? This did. There was a day of rage. And it was this guy, people like him, that were harming and harassing innocent Muslims. So that's what happened there. It needs to stop. We need to blame the people that did the actual attacks, but stop blaming the people who didn't. It doesn't seem like that's that much to ask, but unfortunately, I think it'll get worse before it gets better, if it ever gets better.